Hi, con artists. Welcome. Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome. Hi, John. Welcome. What goodies? Hi, Nick. Welcome. Hi, Casey. Welcome. Hi, Mrs. Matson. Happy Valentine's Day, River Bluff. Yeah, we missed you last week. You must be working hard down there. Hi, Pamela. Welcome. You used to be a chosen one. Unfortunately, guys, we've all been chosen. We've all been selected. It's the torture program by the psychotics. Yeah, I'm sure. You know, when you start a new job, you have to kind of put your time in. And welcome. Your family's gaslighting you. You know what? Don't talk about what's happening to you. They have a hard time. It's like a disconnect. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Let me go turn off my little alarms here. 1 second. And, you know, even with these alarms, they'll still knock me out. Let's see. Let's get rid of this one, and this one. How do they get your family? They do it a number of ways. I have a video about it. They'll select one person in your family, because remember, in all families, there's always somebody that's been jealous of you because you're different. You stand out. It could be a sibling that's jealous of you. I mean, this happens in families that are not targeted. You'll have a narcissist in the family. Yes, they go through your neighbors. It's a whisper campaign, you know? These criminals, they go into, hi, City of Fullerton, welcome. Hi, Fred, welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Oh, you don't have sound? Is there anybody that doesn't have sound? Can you hear me? Let me just type this in here. Can you hear me, guys? Oh, you got sound. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's on somebody else's end. You hear you. Okay, great. Remember that, I mean, I've been on conference calls and stuff, and people start complaining, oh, I can't hear you, or I'm not able to post information. If you're a targeted person, it could be on your end. It's your oldest brother. Yeah, there's always there's sibling rivalry. Hi, goody, get a life. That's a good one. Remember to hit the thumbs up. Yes. Yeah, there's sibling rivalry. Sometimes it's a parent that's jealous, a narcissistic parent. I mean, Jessica Thomaston, who is targeted, she's a PhD. Her mother was jealous of her. Her mother's the one that called 911 on her and got her Baker acted. Oh, okay, yeah. If you've got a family member that has an addiction, they can very easily be bribed. Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear me. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. I see that there are 22 people watching, listening, and 9 thumbs up. Nick says, all I ever did is try to make others jealous. Well, you know what? All it takes is being yourself. If you're self and you're a good person and you're creative, if you're intelligent, if you exude joy, you'll be hated in this lifetime by someone, somebody that you work with, a family member, or members. Grimm is a great show for all targeted individuals. It's on. I've seen Grimm. In fact, back in New Jersey, I mean, wasn't it a series? Hi, Trisman. Welcome, welcome. Hi, SCL. Welcome. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Although some people say it's like a Hallmark holiday, a pagan holiday, it's still, cute. When I was growing up, we used to give out those little Valentine's Day cards. Hi, KYJ Carol. Welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up. I remember back in New Jersey, there was this little boy diagonally across the street, like in another development. He was in love with my daughter. And his mother would drive him to our house, and he would knock on the door on Valentine's Day. He'd be so cute. He'd always have like a little gift for my daughter. You had a date yesterday. Well, good for you. Happy Lupercalia Day. The world is too large for jealousy. Healthy people don't have time. Well, exactly. Exactly. You know what? When you're too busy focusing on yourself and becoming successful and working on yourself, you don't have time to be looking at other people. Like I had this conversation with my daughter today. She says you need to move somewhere where you can actually have conversations with people, and people don't have time to focus on you, and they're only focusing on themselves. The creepy voice is on Valentine's Day. A Valentine's Day with a narcissist. Oh, that's funny. Well, you know what? Give him time. Maybe the narcissist will reject the creepy voice and he'll be back. How's Foxy and the feather babies? Okay, well, Foxy was here yesterday. I was been looking out tonight. Foxy came for food last night, but it was a little bit late, so I'll go up. I'll look up from time to time to see if Foxy's sitting out there. But it's been a little bit warmer, so all the ice on the property is melted. So I've noticed that there's a little bit more vandalism and damage on the homestead because the criminals can easily walk now around the property. Yes, and I'm so glad that hi Joe, welcome. Yes. Joe says, hope you're all staying strong. Love yourself and don't be afraid to spoil yourself once in a while. Get that Ben and Jerry's or something nice. Hi, Automat Tech. Welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up. Pamela says, I've never thought I'd be persecuted for being healthy. I have no time. I hear you. They want to, whatever it is that you have today. Where's creepy today? Well, give them time. I mean, so we're 9 minutes. We're 9 minutes in. So a creepy has showed up at the very beginning, sometimes 20 minutes in, sometimes even an hour in. Oh, Conrad says, well, that's pretty good, River Bluff. You're only down there a short period of time and you already had a date. That's cool. Oh, you can hear the creepy? Oh, well. Oh, SCL treated himself to mint chocolate chip ice cream today. What does the fox say? I've actually only heard the fox get out like a little yelpy once. And then there was another fox. There are 2 foxes. Hi, Julius. Welcome. Happy Valentine's Day. Remember to hit the thumbs up. I don't know if you guys, follow Save a Fox, Michaela Raines, but they had to. Finnegan Fox is gone. Finnegan Fox was like the star fox of Save a Fox. Creepy was just gargling. Oh, well, that's good, River Bluff. Be careful though. If it's a client and ask you for a drink, go for a drink. Beware. Be careful. Just saying. Mint chocolate chip is yummy. Yes, we do need to live as normal life as possible. I know. I know. That was so sad. Some people say they should not have put him down. They should have allowed him to live his life out. But he was grieving. I knew as soon as Michaela was gone, I knew that something was going to happen to Finnegan because Finnegan was like in love with her. Like that was his mommy. She saved him. And I think all of the fox were grieving, but he was a little bit older. He was an older fox. He was literally the face of Save a Fox as far as the foxes go. Everybody knew Finnegan. There are even sounds that you can download for the YouTube videos of Michaela talking to Finnegan. You got tired of stressing you needed a treat today. Unfortunately, caramel ice cream is yummy. That's pretty good too. Yes, he did. He died of a broken heart. Exactly. He got sick because he was grieving. Oh, your trail is named Foxtrot. Oh, Foxy is adorable. And what's so cute about Foxy is he or she, at first I thought it was a she, but maybe it's a he, sits out front of my front door and waits for food. He thinks he's a cat. Sometimes he's actually on the porch eating cat food. I'd rather have the fox than all these raccoons that are around here. Yeah, I haven't been in town in more than a year, so I'm not getting ice cream anytime soon. Yeah, I hear you. Wild animals do not do well in captivity. The only way, the unfortunate thing is some wild animals are wounded in the wild when they're very, very young. It does. When they're very young, and people, humans, rescue wild animals all the time. They're wounded. Um, the mother, the mother gets hunted and leaves behind the kittens or the pups or whatever. And humans will take them in, but you watch them grow. You can see them on YouTube and TikTok videos, and they become really too large to be indoors. But I saw a video, I think it was yesterday, the day before, where they rescued a baby kangaroo. The mother was killed. The baby kangaroo was left alone. So what are you going to do? They took the baby kangaroo in, and it was the cutest little thing, but it turns into like a big kangaroo, and you see the man and the kangaroo lying on the couch like the kangaroo looks like a person. It's huge. Yeah, wildcats can make good pets. That's true. Like there are people that have rescued like palace cats, bobcats, as kittens and stuff. But I mean, it's so obvious that they're not regular cats. Foxy has a family somewhere. Yeah, Foxy has a. There is another fox. So I asked ChatGPT. I asked Siri. How can I tell the difference between a male and a female fox? And of course, the obvious was look at their genitals. It's like a dog. Like if I got close enough to look at the genitals, I'd be able to tell. Oh yes, Luna. Oh, that that cheetah is amazing. Yes, yes, Luna the Pantera. Yes, they got Luna as a little baby kitten, and it grew and grew. It grew up with the dog. Yeah, I have not been able to get close enough to Foxy to determine if it's a male or a female. And actually, when I do get close enough to Foxy, he or she is usually sitting down outside of the front door. Yeah, there are a lot of videos online of people who have rescued like squirrels, cats. Oh, you when you were in Peru, you got to see an ocelot. Oh, they're beautiful. Ocelots are beautiful. Well, there is a man on YouTube, a Ray, and I forget the Tebo and Ray, or Ray and Tebo, and he's got a monkey. And this monkey is all over the place. This monkey, I feel bad for the monkey because he needs to get neutered. Let's see, nicotine patches can help you replenish essential acetylcholine. There's also nicotine chewing gum. Yeah, there's nicotine chewing gum. I don't like it very much. STL says, I have monkeys. They're called gang stalking perps. Oh, yeah, two otters. Yes, I've seen those. Two otters. Yeah, marmosets are really cute too. Yeah, they're very cute. You know, it's unfortunate. Like, if people rescue animals out in the wild or help them because they're injured, most of the time they'll rehabilitate them and let them out again. But the animals always come back. Like, I've seen people rescue bobcats and then let them go, and then months later the bobcat will come back with all their kittens. The same thing with deer. Oh, well, good for you. You're on a fast. I tend to not fast in the winter time. I have a hard time fasting in the winter. Have I had a Bengal? Oh no, I've never had one. No. I've never had a Bengal. I've never had a Savannah cat. There was actually one that got loose in New Jersey. They had posted it online. It was gorgeous. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. They're very, very long and sleek, and they have the most incredible markings. No, I've never had like an exotic cat. You know, most of the cats have always, always been feral. I found outside. It was only like in early, early days when I would adopt them from a shelter. They would always show up. I've never had a Maine Coon. Well, one of my cats in New Jersey was very much like a Maine Coon. He's very much like him. The criminals in New Jersey, they decided to hit him with a car. One of the perps was leaving food out in the parking lot. The cats never go in the parking lot, but they were drawing the cats into the parking lot, and a perp came along and deliberately ran over my cat Sebastian, who was like a Maine Coon. He was gorgeous. He was the sweetest guy. A creepy's making a slow appearance. It is very cruel. And there was an eyewitness, and the eyewitness told me that it was intentional. And then after that person told me it was intentional, that person was never allowed to speak to me again. Yeah, he knew me from going to the cat colony every day. Who brought up houses? Let's see, Maine Coon ragdolls. Yeah, they're nice, but well, you've got to upkeep those cats. They have long, long hair. Yeah, they've got long hair, and it gets tangled very quickly. Joe says, I remember watching a show on TV, maybe Unsolved Mysteries, with a guy with a creepy voice and brown trench coat, citing as Black Panther in Florida were occurring. Yeah, the perps that put chicken in front of your house. Yeah, the perps here, they put chicken and fish out. Hi, Cold Fact, welcome. Merry Love Day. Yes. Yes, happy Valentine's Day. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. I see there are 42 people here. I'm sure at least 10 of them are my neighbors. They've got nothing else to do on a Saturday night than listening to our live stream. So anyway, on Quora, somebody posted something, and the more I think about it, the more I think it's possible. This was posted 6 months ago in the U.S. PSYOPs Targeted Individuals group on Quora. And the topic was witchcraft or psychological warfare. A brief look at the evidence. Now, I thought about it without even reading the rest of it. Witchcraft or psychological warfare? Maybe it's both. Remember the Mind Wars by, what's that creepo guy? I always forget his name. The one that looks like Lucifer, looks like the devil, that military guy. Come on, guys. What's the military guy's name? I'm going to have to go look it up now. 1 second. But anyway, they studied the occult. So if they studied the occult, the military is learning about the cult. They're studying the occult. You got the CIA staring at goats. They're playing mind games, mind wars, and stuff like that. Who's to say that much of the witchcraft rituals that they use on targeted people are merely a psychological operation? Although they actually do have witches around here, that's for sure. Michael Aquino, the Satanist from PSYOP to Mind War. Michael Aquino. Hi, Interdimensional. Michael Aquino, the one that looks like a devil. His eyebrows, those are not naturally combed up that way. He really wants to look like a devil. Founder of the Temple of Set, yes. Yep. Remember to hit the thumbs up. Michael Aquino, what a creepo. Thank goodness he left the planet. Hi, Amy. Welcome, welcome. So on Quora, the heading was witchcraft or psychological warfare. A brief look at the evidence. Sometimes you question if the government practices witchcraft. While it would still be logically hard for other people who aren't victims to comprehend or believe the gravity of this TI phenomenon, one, for fear, and two, the potential curse of knowledge. However, still I know we've covered the subject of occult programs within our beloved government. I still think it's worth to, as a reminder, okay? Reminder, Operation Paperclip, 1945 to the 1950s. And let me just cut and paste this so that you have it in the chat. Post World War II, the U.S. recruited over 1,600 Nazi scientists, including those who conducted human experiments, mind control, and torture at Dachau, ostensibly to counter Soviet science. This program brought expertise that may later influence the MK Ultra, raising ethical questions about using war criminals to advance U.S. goals. Yes, that's a good point about not falling asleep at the wheel, because they will put you to sleep. They will try to put you to sleep. So it's probably a good idea to listen to music. Yes, MK often also, because CIA studying the paranormal and black magic. Yep. So there was Operation Paperclip. Then there was Project 1794 in the 1950s. This was a joint U.S.-Canadian effort to build a supersonic flying saucer for military use. It was declassified in 2012. It was abandoned due to cost, as if cost has ever been a problem to the military, right? But its sci-fi nature fuels speculation about unpublicized UFO-related experiments. Then there is Operation Often. I've never heard of this before, by the way. Operation Often, 1968 to 72. A CIA Army program exploring paranormal and occult methods. For example, summoning entities under MK Ultra umbrella. With your tax dollars. Right? If everybody knew, if everybody in the US knew what we were spending money on, they would be shocked. It's a black budget. Oh, the black budget is over 30 trillion. Where do you get that from? Hi, Forethought 8. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. So limited records suggested tested rituals and drugs, but its abrupt end and sparse documentation fuels speculation of darker, unreported outcomes. Did you hear that? Limited records suggested tested rituals and drugs, but its abrupt end, like it ever ended, and sparse documentation, because they don't want you to know what they were doing, fuels speculation of darker, unreported outcomes. Yeah. Then there was Project Stargate, a classified U.S. Army program for remote viewing involving psychics like Ingo Swann and Joseph McMoneagle. They allegedly helped locate missing planes and spy assets through clairvoyance. The budget peaked at $20 million, and it was shut down in 1995. So they claim. The remote viewing is off the chart. Well, when I was shopping in New Jersey, there was this guy. He was definitely, one of those stalkers, but I think he was a remote viewer, like a psychic, because he was just hanging out in the store and he was just watching everything that I did. He had no expression on his face. He was like I'm gonna say like a Middle Eastern kind of guy, and he was just like looking through me, like he's just trying to figure me out. That I think that's what it was. I think he's one of those remote viewers. Hal Putoff is another guy to check out when it comes to psi research. Oh, you're welcome, Interdimensional. They drive past you with loud mufflers at 4 a.m. Ooh. Yes, the deep underground military bases. Yeah, good. I know. Good luck figuring you out. Yeah, they sit around trying to figure me out. Yeah. Well, all these people have your astrological chart, unfortunately. Let's see. Y'all should watch a movie called Red Light with Robert De Niro. Very good. I like Robert De Niro. He's a really good actor. Okay, next we've got MK Ultra. CIA-led mind control program using LSD, hypnosis, and psychological manipulation on unaware citizens. The goal? Control behavior. Sound like a ritual? Absolutely. So I'll post that in the chat. And MK Ultra never ended. We're experiencing it. Oh, your mother was a hypnosis researcher at a local university. I see your text, SDL. Oh, they definitely hacked into my phone. They changed my words in comment sections. They have control of my keyboard. They also changed the settings on my phone. I don't know if it's remotely or they're actually doing it in my house when they're here. Oh, she was the subject of hypnosis. That's interesting. They keep causing typo and freezing your screen tonight. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys know that I'm a certified clinical hypnotist. Bohemian Grove. The elites gathering in the California woods for symbolic rituals and mock, right, mock sacrifices before a massive owl statue. I mean, these are sick. These are just sick people. Let me tell you. Yeah, mock. Yeah, that's what they have to say. That the large owl. And that's why they use owl calls across my property. They think I'm so stupid that I don't know the difference between a real owl and some Eastern Star witch pretending to be one. So Bohemian Grove, no joke, documented by journalists and attendees. Then there's the Jack Parsons and JPL. Never heard of this either. Jack Parsons and JPL, co-founder of NASA, Nazi Jet Propulsion Lab. Parsons was a devoted occultist and follower of Aleister Crowley. He literally mixed rocket science with ritual magic. I'm hearing about this for the first time. Jack Parsons. Yeah, I'm convinced that because of the phone hacking and the email hacking, that anybody who has been interested in my property in the last 2 years has not come through to me, because it's highly unusual, even if a property is out of somebody's price range, to not even receive a question, a query. Yes, the science mixed with magic. Oh, it's huge. Huge. It's increasing in scope. Sometimes you want to scream in a language understandable to all humans and shout, "I'm being tortured by my government." and hope for the world to listen to you, treat your wounds, and a great king vouch for you at last. But I come back to a reality where good kings are almost extinct and morally illiterate rhetorical salesmen in suits are running rampant. However, while we're here, modern terms to witchcraft maybe means ritualized systems of control, covert operations, psyops, neutralize, and psychopathic torture. Call it what you want, but the shadows are very real, and the light is you. That's the end of this little um, article. What's with the fear of the owl Mexican? People are afraid of owls, but I'm not. They pretend to be coyotes here. CERN, they say, found a way to use dark particles to create black holes. The VPN virtual private network. Yes. Since they're hacking in, we should make it really good, but their magic doesn't work. Well, see, the thing is, most of the time, people are not aware of what witchcraft looks like. They ignore it. Once you know what it looks like, you get rid of it. They don't like that. Then they come back and do it all over again. It pisses them off when you pick up their bitchcraft. And they spread their, I call it bitch dust, witch dust. They spread it in the chicken coops. Like, it doesn't matter. I can clean my chicken coop twice a day, and they're still coming in there and spreading this like pithy dust in there. Hi, 421. Welcome. Is that your birthday, 421? Oh, hi, Vivian. Welcome. Hi, Toward the Terra. Welcome. The gangsters in your neighborhood like to make a lot of noises. They try to sound like demons or make noises that sound like the 80s horror movie sound. They're trying to scare us. Oh, so you get mostly the car and truck noises. Well, you know what? I get grenades on the driveway. Yeah, it's exciting. Grenades, huge black dogs. River Bluff says, I still believe that some of them don't want to do what they're doing. Well, I know that in New Jersey, there were definitely people that were embarrassed that they were doing what they're doing. And the only reason I know that is because I had been living there so long. Like, I I was one of the first I was the first owner of my house. And they were just creating the development. I was like in the last stage of the development. So there was nobody living there. So as people moved in, and then people moved out, and new people came back, moved in. The creepy voice is mowing the lawn now. Hi, Ace of Cups, welcome. But there were people that I knew like for years and years. Like, I didn't know them, like I hang out with them or whatever, but you wave to each other and you're just familiar with them. You know their routines and stuff. And there were some guys in the neighborhood. They were obviously involved in driving by my house like fast. But every once in a while, like, I'd be down by my mailbox and one of them would drive by and they would wave, and you could see that they were totally embarrassed, like they would put their head down. Like they were involved in, you know, driving by at a certain time, but they didn't like it. Believe I saw piano at your place in New Jersey. Do you play piano? I do not play piano. No, no. If we had a piano growing up, we probably would have learned, but we did not have a piano. Forza says, I tend to forget that you are not the only target. We're all targeted here. I'm fairly sure that everybody that's in the chat right now are targeted people. I know that a lot of you guys you've sent evidence of your targeting. You've even provided testimony. Yeah, well, some people are compromised in some way or another. People can be threatened and bribed and coerced. Some people are just not strong enough. I have never been contacted by anybody to do anything to anybody. So I guess they know that, like, it will fall on deaf ears here. They could not convert my mother either. My mother absolutely believed what was happening. She saw what my house was looking like. Yes, the program is to divide and conquer and isolate. And that's a tool of a narcissist. That's what narcissists do. Yes. Well, yeah, yes, SD, yes. There's a small portion that are just walking demons. Oh, you're welcome. I cannot believe it's been 2 years since you gave me that testimony. That is the worst, when they get your family and friends. There's some people that I think that they just don't approach, that they know better. And a video from I forget his real name. Something of the Sun. I have the video on my channel. He clearly explains how these agents, they go into communities, they observe people in the communities, they observe your families, and they know that in every family there's a narcissist. In every family there is somebody that's jealous of you, and they hover around those people and get those people to round up other people in the family. So, like, in my family, it was definitely my cousin. Definitely my brother too, but my brother doesn't have like any clout. He's targeted and he's a pain in the ass. One of my brothers, but it was definitely my cousin. My cousin is like a profound narcissist. I'm fairly certain she killed her husband. I'm fairly certain she had something to do with his death. Let's see. Brain mapping in the BCI tech. Yeah, I was either reading or watching something today about that, the brain mapping. Yes, I've had a flash grenade thrown on my property since 2023. So it's not a first time occurrence or a second time occurrence. There have been at least 4 times. There were fireworks thrown on my property another time. I know it's hard to wrap your mind around why anybody would be convinced to do this stuff. But remember, not everybody thinks like you or I. Not everybody has the same level of consciousness or morality. There are a lot of envious and jealous people out there. There are organized crime families. There are psychotic families, personality disordered people, and they get off on tormenting other people. There are greedy people. Of course, there's the greediness. So, while it's hard to understand how somebody could be willing to do this, just remember that probably a third of the population are already compromised. They're compromised with addictions, drug addictions, pharmaceutical addictions, gambling, um, hooked on antidepressants, antipsychotics, generational sadism. Oh, well, thank you, SCL. It's hard. It is very hard. It's I was talking to my daughter about it today, how, they're dumping the animals on my property. They're giving birth to kittens and stuff, and it's like, when I move, I'm not going to be taking these animals with me. If they don't want to give me vet appointments and a pay for the spaying and neutering of these animals, I'm not taking them with me. I'm not responsible for them. Keep dropping the animals here. I'll feed them to the dogs. I mean, it's getting to the point where I have to think about myself at this point. I mentioned to my daughter, like, when I moved from New Jersey to here, my whole thing was on successfully moving my cats. Like, my cats, like, ruled the move. But that's not going to be, when I move from here, that's not going to be the case. Yes, and they vandalize and poison. Yes, they poisoned you. That's an interesting concept about feral people. Yes, feral people. Oh, that's interesting. I thought I saw that toward the Terra in the news. 3 Chinese students arrested in London, Ontario, and being charged with possession of explosives and firearms manufacturing. They were also developing microwave weapon systems. Well, the unfortunate thing is, when we bring students from other countries, and this is not a specific country, I'm not naming a specific country, but they come here because we've got a unique educational system here. So they get educated here. Many of them come here as, wanting to get educated here for a specific purpose that's not beneficial to us. I'll just put it mildly like that. Let's see. I think you're missing the point on your way out of this. What's the point? The microwave weapon system was a business project from these Chinese students. One named Wang and the terrorist microwave weapon landlord. Oh. Well, you know what? That's a very common Asian last name, actually. But they could be related. I mean, there's usually no coincidence in this targeting BS. The microwave weapons. Interesting. I don't see any buffering on my end, Ace of Cups. It could be on your end. I'm not seeing it. I mean, sometimes they do buffer here, but I'll let you know if it happens to me. Yeah, Amy says they poison your creamer, sugar, coffee, things that you use every day. They probably do that to me too. But how do you know? I mean, the only time I know is like if I eat or drink something and I feel weird afterwards. Exactly. Wang and Wang are very big Asian last names. Exactly. That's exactly right. It's a very common name. Let's see. The microwave weapon system is a drone defense system for soldiers. They got funding from Canadian government grants to develop the military system, but I know they point that system at their neighbors for the purpose of real estate mobbing. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Bow Wow's going to get 40 free cats. Oh my god. But well, by the time I leave here, they'll keep procreating. There could very well could be. Which is it's so disturbing because, I spay and neuter all my cats in New Jersey. Let's see, in the 1980s, Wang was a very successful. Oh, yes, it was a computer business. That's exactly right. I remember that. Yep. Okay, so Amy says that when they poison her foods, she gets tremors and nausea. Oh, well, thank you, Georgia. No, my house was gorgeous. I had literally the prettiest landscaping on the block, and then the photos that you're seeing are after they took down all my corner trees, after they damaged the grass. I have photos of what it looked like. It was so lush in the backyard. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was a 5-bedroom house with a 2-car attached garage with an attic. I had an attic above the house, an attic above the garage, a whole house fan. I installed new windows before I sold the house, new blinds, new shades, new bathrooms, remodeled the kitchen. Yeah, I remodeled the kitchen. I had hardwood floors, crown molding, ceiling fans in every room. I installed California closets, so they were all, you know, remodeled, except for one. One wasn't remodeled. You guys put a lot of money into that house. No, no, you can when you're talking about those two, the Wangs that live 100 kilometers apart and both into microwave weapons, and they both look similar, they're probably family members. A lot of people that come from other countries to educate themselves here, as an international student, they don't always have good intentions. Yes, I'm going to get up and look for Foxy, see if Foxy's outside. 1 second. Foxy usually sets off the motion light, but I don't see a motion light on. Well, I don't see Foxy, but unfortunately, I hear there's little squeaks outside, and it sounds like baby raccoons. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like baby coonies. Yes, that house is worth $1 million now, but the property taxes are crazy. The property taxes like doubled. I did not send any message. Oh, okay. Yeah, Foxy's not out there. The problem with New Jersey is the property taxes are crazy. I know. I don't need baby raccoon. I hear them squeaking in the background. I hear them squeaking out there. I'll have to start trapping them again, unfortunately. The weather's been so bad. Yeah, that's probably a good idea to disconnect your wireless. That's exactly right. Amy says the home that she sold doubled in value immediately. When I sold my house in New Jersey, it already sold for less than it should have been. It should have sold for around 650, and it sold for 550 because I had to keep reducing it because these criminals were blacklisting me and I didn't even know it. Yes, newborn raccoon. That's what they sound like. They're squeaking. I hear squeaks outside. No good. I mean, that's horrible. Feedback, mute all the devices playing your stream. Well, something that you might be hearing, because these criminals damaged the fan, the internal fan on the laptop. So because I don't have a fan, an operable fan in the laptop, I have a little external fan in back of the laptop now, that you might be hearing. But I've turned it off in the past, and people say that it hasn't, it hasn't changed the sound at all. Yeah, I hear little squeakies in the distance, unfortunately. And they're so cute when they're babies. They really are cute. And most of the raccoons are fine, but there's like one or two of them that are nasty. But there are just too many of them. They eat all the cat food. So the creepy voice is not as bad as usual. Maybe Creaky just didn't get his grant renewed. Let's see. If I have a video player playing your stream, the audio coming from might do this. I'm just live streaming through YouTube. Nothing special, just through YouTube. Oh my goodness. That's terrible, Amy. Well, I'll be looking into that soon. Okay, when you say you got a USB webcam and it improved the audio? There was a coyote on the property, I guess, a couple of years ago. It was weird. I think it was sick. It wasn't bothering anybody, but it just wanted to sleep in one of my outbuildings. And that was not normal. It was like during the day. And then it just kind of picked up and walked away. And then, like, later in the day, I heard like my neighbor shoot something. So I have a feeling that they, because they're surveilling everything I do, they probably killed the coyote if it wasn't well. Creepy is a recovering narcissist. He left the convent. That's funny. Well, the creepy voice is sometimes in my cameras. When I play back my camera sound, the creepy voice on my porch actually said my name. I uploaded it. I guess it was last year sometime. There was a dude hiding behind your shed not too long ago, and you startled him, found out where he lives today. Okay, so let's see. $30. I got a Logitech Brio 101 full HD 1080p webcam. Cool. Right, I hear you, Pamela. Yeah, because these criminals, that's what they do. They go after the things that you appreciate, that you like, that you care for. Wait a minute. I hear something on the porch. 1 second. Hi, Jackie Bond. Welcome. Happy Valentine's Day. Okay, so there are 2 raccoons on the porch. Yeah, I don't have a game plan. And the thing is, it's so hard to keep anything to yourself, right? You know, if you're monitored, that's how they were able to steal my watch. How would they know that I even had a new watch? Right? So they're surveilling everything I do. And that's why they're blocking the sale of my house. Because of course it won't be beneficial to them when I move. They'll have to set up somewhere else. They'll have to collaborate with a new state. They'll have to share information with a new state. They'll have to lose some of their grant money. The neighbors won't be paid anymore. Oh, thank you, SDL. And maybe the new state doesn't want to share information or split money or grant money. And then, of course, if my neighbors decide to follow me to another state, I will file a massive lawsuit against them for stalking, interstate stalking. Let me see. Let me check my mail. Yes, that's right, Jonathan. Yes, that's right. Exactly. And there was a documentary that I watched yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. If I forward it to myself. It might be in my other email address. 1 second. Let me see. One second. I have to go to another email address. It was a documentary on the mind control, targeted individuals. Let's see if I could find it. I have too many email addresses. Let's see. Um, um, um. I'm not finding it right now. I thought I sent it to myself here, and I just can't find it. There's another comment that I received on Quora. I thought this was really interesting. I've never heard of this before. I had posted the sleep deprivation and sensory overload, disrupting the mind's offenses, shadows in the fog, part 4. Let me just stick this in the chat here. And the response I received was this. The reason they're giving you sleep deprivation is not what you think it is. It is not a psychological attack to give you a lack of sleep to make your mind weaker. You're being put to sleep and woken up multiple times for a different reason. There is an ability that this device has that you do not know about, and I am not aware of deliberately. He says it's the Nano-Intestinal Hybrid Projector. Let me type this in the chat so that you can see what this is. It's miniature hardware and a power architecture. The dimensions are, it's a rice grain form factor measuring roughly 8.5 millimeters by 3 millimeters. The energy autonomy, this device generates its own energy to eliminate bulky batteries. It uses a glucose biofuel cell, extracting electrons from intestinal fluids, and a piezoelectric harvester, converting the gut's natural movement into electricity. I mean, this sounds something like Sabrina Wallace was talking about. The storage is a high-capacity solid-state microcapacitor. It stores this harvested energy, allowing it to discharge the high-intensity bursts required for long-distance projection. Then he says it's a dual mode ultrasound projection. Yes, the stomach is an acidic environment. They use the physical and spiritual weapons together for the best results. So he goes on to say this device features a CMUT on CMOS micro machined ultrasonic transducer phased array that executes 2 primary functions. Well, let me post this in the chat. First is retinal drawing, the ocular mode, the sparkler effect. The laptop sends coordinates for a sparkler image. The pill fires a tightly focused beam through the liver's acoustic window to the eye. The mechanism using acoustic radiation force, ARF, the beam pushes on the retinal neurons. This mechanical pressure is perceived by the patient as moving spots of light, phosphenes, effectively drawing the sparkler inside their vision. Well, they have been messing with my vision. I'll cut and paste some of this in the chat. And then he goes on to say they use acoustic radiation. Okay, I just read that. Never mind. Then number 2, the muscle vibration, which is the muscular mode. It's localized stimulation. The array pivots its focus to nearby muscles like sios or diaphragm. The mechanism uses focused ultrasound stimulation to vibrate muscle fibers. This can be used for haptic feedback, physical therapy, or localized neurostimulation. I'll post some of this in the chat. Well, the military, remember, they brought all those Nazi scientists over here, 1,600 of them, and it's just gotten worse with technology. They need to experiment and get their grants, and they're sadistic. OSDL, you signing off? So then it says laptop control and telemetry loop. This device functions as a closed loop system controlled via remote laptop. So we've got somebody with a laptop that's playing mind. Yes, they blur your vision and cause cataracts. They knock out your vision in your right eye 2 years ago. Oh, you're going to sleep. Okay, have a good night. Have a good night. So the instruction uplink is the laptop performs heavy computation, calculating the complex phase maps required to steer the ultrasound beams and sending them to the pill. The telemetry downlink is the pill sends real-time data back to the laptop, including three-dimensional orientation, internal energy reserves, and local tissue temperature to ensure safety. The adaptive aiming is if the pill moves or the patient breathes, the laptop software instantly recalibrates the beam's angle to keep the sparkler, quote unquote, perfectly steady on the retina. Technical specification summary. There's the components, the specification, the primary function, the footprint, 8.5 millimeter in length, biocompatible PEEK housing for intestinal safety, power, glucose kinetic harvesting, continuous self-charging from the body's own chemistry, ocular output, vector phosphines, traces high-speed sparkler images on the retina, macular output, FUS vibration, targeted mechanical stimulation of nearby muscle groups, communication, bidirectional telemetry, high-speed data exchange with a laptop, M-band link. Every time you fall asleep and wake up, they draw images in your eyes and say things to you in a whisper that you can hardly hear. They try to implant ideas into your mind while you're sleeping. He says, because I've experienced lucid dreaming in the past, I could recognize the difference between all three things. 1, complete unconsciousness, understanding that I'm asleep, but I'm not dreaming. 2 would be a dream. And 3 is a constructed dream or an attack on my eye. For a hint, when they do it, the muscles above your eyeballs will be pumped up and inflated. So this is the first time I'm hearing about this kind of weird technology. And I sent a message back like, where did you receive this information from? Like, what is your source? So I thought that was interesting. Yes, they all need to be in prison. Yes, they do. holographic projectors they make lucid dreams with. Good night, STL. Thank you for joining in. Oh, okay. It's 11:14 p.m. here. Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting that the reason they put you to sleep and then wake you up and put you to sleep and they do it is for a reason that I not considered. That it's more malicious and more nefarious than just like breaking into my house and doing weird stuff. No, 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 no. I thought that when you mentioned what you did before that you were signing off. We're getting separation anxiety. It's easy to be on edge when you're targeted because what's happening to us is not natural. I believe so. I do. Ace of Cups says, imagine how they're using these control technologies on politicians. No, Nick, what happened today was I was on the phone with my daughter for a while. So that took up a part of my day, and I had to do some technological stuff that took way longer. Took way long. I thought it was going to take me like 20 minutes or half an hour. It ended up taking me 4 hours. So it took 4 hours of my time today just doing computer stuff. So I was going to put out another video, a short video today, but I got sidetracked, and then I'm keeping up on that Nancy Guthrie case. What a mess. Hi, Annie. Yes, I received your emails on the webcam. I did. Can I use the audio from this live stream? I was thinking of going live now. I think you can. Can you do that? Yeah, I think you can. We're going to be live until midnight, so sure. If you want to overlap it, no problem. That's really interesting that you say that, Nick. You said the case is a psyop. Now, honestly, I don't watch TV, so I did not even know who Savannah Guthrie was. I did not know she was like some famous person. I had no idea who she was. So then I find out who she is, and I feel bad about the mother. She's 84 years old, but there was something very fishy from the beginning. And also, it was on a full moon, and it could be a full moon ritual. But it was just something very fishy from the beginning because they did not section it off as a crime scene from the beginning. It's like they waited days to do that. Like, who does that? You've got an 84-year-old woman who's abducted at 2 o'clock in the morning. And also, what's really bizarre about it is, with all of her money, Savannah Guthrie's money, they did not even have security cameras outside, pointing outside. They only had that one. They didn't have security cameras inside. They didn't have a monitored alarm. They didn't have motion sensor lights. Okay, they said something like, oh, well, they don't allow lights outside, but it affects other people. Well, what about motion lights? Exactly. How do you kidnap someone and send a ransom note a week later? Right? And this is an 84-year-old woman. She could not walk on her own. She needed help walking. Was not a mobile person. Like, is that like somebody you want to talk? Like, so there's one person that they showed at that front door. They finally get this back end images of this creepy looking guy with a ski mask over his face. Only one guy to pick up an 84-year-old woman. He's got a backpack. She's not mobile. She probably weighs as much as he does. I'm wondering how he got her out the door. I know. Like, you know what? I think that she's not alive anymore. Because generally, when people are holding somebody for ransom, and the request from the family is, let us know that she's still alive. Send us a photo. Let us hear a voice. They haven't done anything like that. They didn't even try to fake it. They didn't even try to AI it. So, no, they have sent nothing. And then I think, well, maybe it's somebody who knows her really well and that they were using her mother as a ritual sacrifice. You can't help but think that if it's happening on the full moon, right? And with all the money that she had, who would leave an immobile 84-year-old woman to live in that huge house in the middle of nowhere? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. It does not make any sense at all. Like, if my mother was still alive and she was not mobile, she would not be living alone. She'd be living with me. Like, how does a woman like that rich, that wealthy, she could have her mom live with her? than to have her isolated in the middle of a desert. I mean, it just made no sense to me. I don't know. I think they were receiving emails, and I think one was a phone call. There might have been a phone call and an email, not a mail, not a regular mail. And they were sending them to TMZ. And I believe that they actually paid a ransom. They paid a ransom, and they were following it to see if it would get cashed, like through the Bitcoin or whatever. Um, I know it's just another distraction, don't you? First, we have the Charlie Kirk issue, right? And that was the day before 9/11. And then we've got this on a full moon, right? Like it just all seems to be, I don't know. It's all contrived. It's all exactly like the dog and pony show. But nevertheless, whatever it is, there's an 84-year-old woman who's missing. And that is really, when you get to 84 years old, and she looked like such a sweet woman, like, you don't want anything to happen to her. And it's just so creepy, just very creepy. But I don't know, with the amount of money that woman has, to have like no security around her mother. Nick says she's not missing. Yes, I remember that. Yes. Nick says, don't forget Nancy Pelosi and her husband's house invasion with a hammer wielding weirdo. Absolutely. I remember that. Yes. I just don't know. But you know how it goes in Hollywood. They pay people to target people. And sometimes it's so that they can stay in the position of power or um, influence or affluence that they've acquired. It's just something very weird about the case, just something very strange about it. That's another thing. They know targets every move, but they can't find a missing person. Yeah, right. Exactly. And she's got a pacemaker. Her pacemaker probably has like a number on it. It's probably got something trackable. I don't know. It just seems weird. Oh, really? Joe says the solar observatory in New Mexico got shut down again. Last time it was shut down because one of the employees was looking at, oh, yes, the kiddo corn. Nick says, I can't go missing if I tried. Exactly. It's very suspect. Yep. Yeah, there's something very bizarre about the case. And like if your mother or my mother, like if she was still alive, just disappeared or was kidnapped, do you think the FBI would be looking for them? No. So why is the FBI involved in looking for her mother when there are people that go missing every day of the year and the FBI does not get involved with them? Oh, it's because she's got money. It's because she's a public figure. That's right. Yes, Seal says I can't even shower or use the restroom without them knowing every move. Yeah. I know. I was thinking that last night. I was taking my Epsom salt detox bath. Well, case in point is they have not been able to find one serial, they have not been able to prevent one school shooting, one serial killer, They haven't prevented any abductions. So, what good is this surveillance state that we are living in? Oh, I'm glad. The demon video. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was long overdue. It was long overdue. Especially was thinking about the trash, how they revel in trash. And then it occurred to me that they were even doing a little bit of that in New Jersey. Basically, what they would do in New Jersey is every time my trash was taken by the trash guys, they would have this one person walk by and throw an empty can of soda in my empty garbage pail. Okay, well, listen, you thought to yourself, they're human incarnations of these demons, or they're doing rituals for them, or they're trying to imitate them. It just hit too close to home to that. I think that it's something that they do to targeted people. I think that not only are fusion centers involved in spreading this stuff, but I think that these generational families, they just do it naturally. I do. I think they do it naturally. They get off on it. They're sadistic, they're predatory. I've not heard of a Faraday jacket, and that's got to be really costly. And I guess unless you can make one yourself, with some Faraday fabric or whatever, but I've not heard of a Faraday jacket. Yeah, the surveillance state is to find lost dogs. Well, that's what microchips were for, right? Like back in the day where people were chipping their pets. The chips were allegedly to locate the animals, but most of the time people didn't register their microchips, and you'd have to pay a fee to register your microchip. Build me a Faraday house. The best Faraday house is probably underground. It's probably one of those what do you call them? Oh my goodness, it's escaping me. Not a dome home. The ones that they're partially buried in the ground. A Faraday fabric is a huge piece, or at $27 on Amazon. People can sew garments. Yeah. Well, I know people that have made their own Faraday hats where they've taken like a regular baseball cap and lined it with a Faraday fabric and have placed actually magnets on it, like small magnets around the hat. Spiro, Spiro, makes protective hats and clothing and maybe blankets. There are quite a few of them. There's less EMF. They have the skull caps and scarves, and um, I think they have. If you're pregnant, they've got a covering for your abdomen, some grounding mats and stuff. But you can also find this stuff on eBay. It's called the Zapper Guy. You could find it also on Etsy. The Zapper Guy. I had the same thing, Amy. I have the exact same thing. It did not do a thing. And it does make it worse unless you can ground yourself. Yes. I'll have a proton mail set up soon. Oh, SDL? Don't waste your time. I have one. It did nothing. I bought one. And it's heavy as hell. It's so heavy and it would slide off my bed at night and it wasn't doing anything. It's on the floor right now. It's like all rolled up. Yeah, the problem is in grounding it. Yeah, I have one. I think though it's probably good if you buy something to protect your thyroid, but no, it's done nothing for me. Nothing. I still wake up, my legs are vibrating. They're hot, very hot. Like they should be in the 70s, like the upper 70s. And I wake up and my legs are like 97 degrees. My feet are 97 degrees. That would be a good one, Nick. And like those concrete walls. Well, you remember back in the 60s and 70s, they had that lead-based paint, and then they outlawed it. Why do you think they outlawed it? Because it works. And I think that a lot of the EMF paint that's really, really expensive, I think it's lead-based. And if you remember, like the old Superman, and whatever kryptonite would be around him, like he would get weak and whatever. But then if he had like lead over him, like it would prevent the kryptonite from bothering him. Earbuds. I've heard that, yeah. There's a targeted woman who says the noise canceling earphones work. Oh, that's interesting. You attached a pocket watch to your hat. It did something. I don't know what, but it helped. Oh, because you had a pattern of ticking that interfered. Yeah, metronome, exactly. Yeah, it's horrible, John. Yeah. Yes, you can feel it. You can feel it pulse sometimes. Sometimes I'll hear it like right before I'm going to fall asleep. Like they don't want you to hear what they're doing, but every once in a while they screw up and I'm not asleep. And I'll hear things like ticking in the ceiling of my bedroom. Like little like clicking. And then there was one time I did put like one of the aluminum bubble wraps over me, and I did hear the little pings. They were hitting me. I think that's the case, Julius. Satellites might be used to direct microwave energy to ground targets and drones. There should be a place where we can list tips and ideas for shielding or health tips, ideas to help. Yeah, it's sort of difficult because you can do it in a post, but then the post gets lost. I mean, it would probably have to be on a website. You've heard those pings too. You hear like little, yeah, pop, like little pings. Popcorn trackers are being used. You can hear it in your breathing. create canceling radiation? Yes, some of those aluminum roasting pans are really good. They're very thick. Yeah, like creating websites can be time consuming and costly. They can be generated quicker, with the help of AI and stuff, but you still have to, buy a domain name. Amy says earbuds and listening to music helps the ear ringing best. I just forget sometimes to turn on the music. Or what happens is the music is on, but then it gets interrupted with advertisements. On YouTube, sometimes there'll be like binaural beats or whatever that will last for 2 or 3 or 4 hours long. Yeah, the aluminum bubble wrap. Let's see. Nick says, take aluminum foil, fold it in half, the shiny side in, then put it up. It traps the zap. Yes, the binaural beats, the thunderstorms, ocean waves. And also there's the handpan music, which is really cool. It kind of stimulates both sides of your brain. That's exactly right, Julius. Canceling EMF emissions requires sophisticated and expensive equipment well beyond our means. That's true. Ace comes. It's suspicious also because first responders have more time. Let's see. It just scrolled up. Let's see. Play some Sonic Youth. I know. I went to the website, not their website, their YouTube channel to check it out. Noise control reduces unwanted sound by generating a mirror image, inverted sound wave, anti-noise. If you feel pain from electronic weapons, get that thick aluminum turkey roasting pan. If you hold it in front of the body part that hurts, you can move the pan around until you feel better. Sound waves and energy waves are kind of the same-ish. The V2K scatter frequencies are good. Yes. I think it's blue. Let's see. Blue. Oh, for the bubble wrap? Okay. Yes, the shallot. Yes, you know that they damaged mine. Yeah, blue scales. Blue scales is a targeted person who created some sounds for blocking V2K. Yes, one of the best things we can do is to detox heavy metals. Get chlorophyll and chlorella. Yes, that's what it is. The V2K scatter frequencies. Well, that the bubble wrap that I was talking about, I actually get a lot of it when I order from Misfits Market. They use it for the cold pack. Sonic Youth was a band in the 90s. Yeah, Dr. Virtual is good too. They opened for Madonna. Automats from the 70s. Sonic Youth is a noise band. Well, that's probably why I didn't listen to them. They're a noise band. That's a good point, Julia says. One thing I'm trying to do is to vary my daily routine and personal habits to poison the data that feeds the AI. If there weren't things that I had to do on a regular basis, I would do that also. Yes, early grunge. Yes. Yeah, I did not listen to that music back in the day. Yes, I love Santana. I've seen Santana at concerts. What was it called? In New Jersey and in New York. Yeah, he's in his 70s now. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, well, he eats healthfully, Santana, Carlos Santana. I think he actually got divorced a few years back. I was surprised. There was something going on there. A lot of those guys from back then still look great. I mean, of course they look great. The ones that didn't do the drugs, they took care of themselves and they're still playing music. That was a great album. Yeah. They got money for plastic surgery. Yeah, Carlos got caught in the cookie jar. Yeah, I think that's what happens. I think that's what's happened. Yeah, I think that is what happened. You know, that's too funny. And hormone treat. Well, they've had money. Oh, I'm so glad you had a good time tonight, SDL. We're going to be signing off in about 10 minutes anyway. Tell us some rock stars that you've met that you liked. That I've met in person or that I've just seen. You know, or ones that I've spoken to. Ones that I've spoken to versus what I've met in person versus just going to a concert. Hi, Elsie. Did you just sign on? Like back in the day when I was dating the mafia guy. No, he wasn't a mafia guy. He was a musician and a photographer, but his family was. We went to a lot of concerts, and because he was a musician, he worked in a recording studio. So I got to meet people back then. You're off to walk the dogs. How many dogs do you have? Look at all the little hands coming up. Remember to hit the thumbs up. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. Good night, Pam. Anyone famous? Bon Jovi doesn't count. Well, Bon Jovi had that restaurant in Red Bank, New Jersey. I have not met him. I never did meet him, but he was in New Jersey. Just like Bruce Springsteen, I've never met Bruce Springsteen. I saw so many concerts though when I lived in New York City and in Queens. I've seen Santana a couple of times. I've seen Eric Clapton a couple of times. Daryl Hall and John Oates a couple of times. Um, I saw Cher. I saw Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 reunion on the night before the World Trade Center came down. That was a spectacular concert at Madison Square Garden. I saw Chicago and the Beach Boys, Peter Frampton. It's in the process of doing that, Ace of Cups. It's going to take another month. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, it was horrible. Like my daughter and I went to see Michael Jackson. We had great center seats. Michael Jackson, the Jackson 5 reunion. Um, it was like Usher was there, Macaulay Culkin, Elizabeth Taylor. Like it was like star-studded. Like my daughter and I were standing outside in the torrential pouring rain, watching all these people, all these stars, quote unquote, going in the back door, for the concert. And we get in there, we're already soaking wet, but it was like so amazing. And then by the time we get home, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 2:30 in the morning. I go to bed. I get a phone call the next day from my boyfriend at the time. He says, "Are you watching the television?" I said, "No, you just woke me up. We had a concert last night." And he says, "Well, turn on the TV." And I turn on the TV, and it's like, what just happened? Like, how could you miss the World Trade? How could a plane like miss the World Trade Center? Like it didn't compute to me what was happening. And then as I'm on the phone with him, and he's calling me long distance from Israel because that's where he was working at the time. And we're on the phone, and then suddenly another airplane allegedly hits the building. It's like, what the hell's going? What? I was like in total shock. But meanwhile, the night before, I had this great, great concert that I attended. The next morning, I wake up and the whole world changed. It's horrible. You got to see Gene Hackman and his wife downtown Santa Fe at the coffee shop playing pool. Oh, that's cool. My friends and I went to, I forget it's called Serendipities in New York City. Oh, you met Mick Jagger? You stayed at your friend's house when you came to New Zealand. That's so cool. And my friends and I were eating at this ice cream place in New York City called Serendipities, and Rod Stewart was in there with his wife at the time. And then I was like an au pair for this psychologist in New York City, and Al Pacino lived in her building. And I literally walk right past him. He was with oh my goodness, I'm forgetting her name. That woman, the unusual woman. I'm forgetting her name now. He was wearing like this red scarf wrapped around his neck. He was like really cool looking, Al Pacino. Yeah, but if you like live in New York City or work in New York City, you're bound to walk past one of them. Um, I didn't meet in person, but I saw in person John Lennon and Yoko Ono. They walk right past me. It's like the whole world, like everybody stood still to watch them. Yeah, Rod Stewart with his like spiky hair and the ice and Serendipities in New York City. Yep, yep. Oh, really? You partied with Rod Stewart's ex-wife, Rachel Hunter, also in New Zealand. Well, I'm talking a long time ago, right? So this is like I'm going to say it's in the 80s. Yes. Yeah, I mean, if you live in New York City, work there, you're bound to run into some celebrity walking around at some point. Yeah, the 80s was the best. I'm still an 80s music girl. I still love the 80s. Yep. Jethro Tull. Yeah, Jethro Tull. And then they had all the concerts in the park. I saw Diana Ross in the park in the pouring rain. And I think it was called Jefferson Starship at the time. They went from Jefferson Airplane to Starship. Yeah, Deep Purple was from the 60s. And then, like, back in the Bronx, like, a lot of the, I guess, the newer up and coming musicians would play at the universities, at the colleges and stuff. And that's why I saw Peter Frampton. I think it was Lehman College or something. Yeah, the concerts in the park were amazing. They were all free. They were the best. And then actually the concerts at the pier were great, but you had to pay for those. The concerts at the pier were so cool. Like I saw Tears for Fears and uh, uh Boy George. I saw Boy George there, and let me see, Annie Lennox. You saw Tom Petty. Like everything pre-social media, mobile tech seems ideal now, nostalgic. Yes, it is. Eddie Meatloaf. My brother was into Meatloaf. He had a really nice voice, but I just wasn't really into his music so much. But he had a very nice voice. Tom Petty, the Hit Makers. Oh, Chris Isaac had a great voice. Yes, yes. Oh yeah, I saw the Thompson twins. And let's see, who else did I see? The Average White Bands. Yeah, there was a while there I was getting into jazz, and then I'd go to jazz concerts. Hacking into phones is why these people will get into deep trouble. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, they are. You saw Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Was that a good concert? Salt and Peppa. Yeah, you have to wonder whatever happened to these groups. I actually saw the Backstreet Boys. I saw the Backstreet Boys, and what was the other group? I'm forgetting their names. I saw Clapton a couple of times. Billy Joel. I've not seen Billy NSYNC. Yeah, I saw NSYNC actually. I saw NSYNC in New Jersey. Blue Cheer. Let's see. Run DMC from Queens. The Ace of Base. That was good. Ace of Base was good. Oh, Whitney Houston. I never got to see her. Yeah, she was great. NSYNC. Yeah, NSYNC was good. Some of those artists passed away. You saw NSYNC? Oh, that's so cool. At Lehigh University. Yeah, I wasn't like my brother was into Kiss. Like some of those grungy or rockier groups. I wasn't into those groups. She's Lorena's distant family. I was worried when you said she wasn't down with Ace. That's so funny. Oh yeah, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Neil Young. Yep. I saw Neil Young. I saw the Eagles. Dire Straits was really cool. And I'm going blank with some of the people that I've seen. The Thompson twins. I'm trying to think. Um, oh, I saw a Flock of Seagulls. Neil Young signed an album for you. Oh, that's cool. There was great music back then. There was so many different kinds of music. And the thing is, like when rap came along, I could not stomach it. I couldn't listen to it at all. I saw Duran Duran. Duran Duran was the loudest concert I have ever been to in my life. The women would not stop screaming. I thought it was like watching the Beatles or something. It was the craziest concert I've ever been to. I was actually with my ex-husband. Duran Duran. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a good song. That Never Rains in Southern California. That was good. Yes, all those are good. Yeah, I saw a flock of seagulls at the pier. Like back in the day, I used to go to dance clubs, just saying. Duran Duran was a great show. Oh, it was so great. It was at Madison Square Garden. Anything at Madison Square Garden is like spectacular. It's just huge. Huge. Yeah, Studio 54. That's where we go. Yep. Studio 54. Yes, I saw a flock of seagulls at the pier. I did. Yeah. Yep. I'm pretty sure it was at the pier. And that's where I saw Boy George with Culture Club, and the Thompson twins were there. Um, I don't know. There were so many others. Yeah, I got into Studio 54. Of course, I got in. What do you? Yeah, me and Isabel would go there. She was my coworker, Isabel. She's a crazy girl. The Doobie Brothers. Oh yeah, they were great. Actually, this is crazy. I was in the village, Greenwich Village, and suddenly people are setting up on the street for an artist to play, and it was the Doobie Brothers. It was so weird. Yeah, Boy George was at the pier. I was surprised, but yet with the Doobie Brothers, they actually set up in Greenwich Village on the street. I don't even remember when it was. It had to have been in the 80s. Yeah, I really like Boy George then. I Barry Manilow, I saw him in New York City walking on the street. Yeah. It was Diane Keaton. That's who it was. Al Pacino was walking with Diane Keaton, because he lived in the building that the psychiatrist lived in. I did not see Heart. I've never seen Heart. No. I've not seen Doctor Hook either, but I remember it. Yeah, there's just like some musics that you resonated with more than others. Like, they went through the whole, the female singers, Carole King and Joni Mitchell. Blondie, yes, Blondie was good. Yeah, Blondie was really good. Celine Dion. I actually, it's really interesting. While she's got a beautiful, stunning voice, I never got into her music. Oh yeah, I remember that one now. Buffalo Springfield. You're bringing up memories, I'm like forgetting the names of some of the groups like I'm listening to. And I really like Prince, of course, Michael Jackson, um, Pink Floyd, of course, yes, back in the day. We all, and yeah, Carly Simon, You're So Vain, yes. James Taylor, yes. And if you ever wanted to see those people, you go to Nantucket, you'd find them there. I think they had a restaurant. I think, was it James Taylor? He had a restaurant there or something. Harry Chapin. You keep saying Bon Jovi doesn't count. That's so funny. I've never met Bon Jovi. I've actually never been to his concert either. Yeah, Pink Floyd was great. Yeah, Chicago. Chicago is great too. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. It just kind of brings back memories now. And it's good. I guess it's good for targeted people to remember, and the animals. Yes, the animals. That's older. That's way older. Oh, you know what? It just occurred to me. I went to Yes concert. Yes, and Ted Nugent was good. Definitely not rated PG. Oh, Aerosmith. Yeah, back then. Yes, I've seen Eric Clapton a couple of times. It might have been 3 times. I might have seen 3 times because, like, back in the day, like, that ex-boyfriend, like, loved Eric Clapton, and then I saw him. Actually, he was, like, one of my last concerts to see. When I was in New Jersey, he was in New York City. Yeah, Tears for Fears was good. And then when I was in the jazz phase, like I saw Al Jarreau, the Average White Band. Who else did I see? Um, I'm forgetting their names now. George Michael. Oh, I love George Michael. I did not get to see him. Oh, he was so good. He was so good. Tim McGraw. Oh, the Police. Yes. How could we forget the Police, right? And Sting. Yes, Sting and the Police. Great music. Oh, yes. Bachman Turner Overdrive. Oh, this will bring you back memories. Wumscott. Autostatic. The Beach Boys. Yes, Beach Boys were fun. Gordon Lightfoot. Yes. I have a rooster crowing. I don't know why my rooster's crowing. my roosters are crowing. Guns N' Roses. That was a good song. Well, he was a really good performer back then. I mean, it's like midnight. My roosters are crowing. Hall and Oates. I've seen Hall and Oates a couple of times. Daryl Hall and John Oates. Yes. Yep. Yeah, they were good. Anyone likes them? Bob Seger, Turn the Page. Oh yeah, it's nice reminiscing of it. I know. Why are the roosters crowing now? This is so bizarre. Actually, like it's stereo roosters, like from 2 different coops. Oh, Dan Hill. Yes. Dan Hill. Yes. I can't believe my roosters are crowing. This is so weird. John Fogerty, The Old Man Down the Road, Dan Hill, Healing Power of Love, Joan Armatrading, Drop the Pilot. Well, guys, it's been fun reminiscing about old times and old music and stuff. We had the best music back then. Oh, John Lennon, yes. Michael Jackson has now been vindicated. I know. That poor guy, they tortured him. I've said it before. Michael Jackson was a targeted individual. Um, when he separated from that music company, they didn't like that too much. Yeah, they wanted to take him down, and they used against him what they do to us because he loved children. He had Neverland. So what did they do? They labeled him what they're going to do. They labeled him a PEDO. Financially destroyed him. Um, I know, just horrible what they did to that man. And we lost, like, I mean, literally, what do they call him? The king of pop. We lost him to these criminals. Yes, he knew exactly what they were up to. He knew. He knew. And what they did to him, oh, God. But they do to so many of those musicians. At least he got to live longer than the 27 Club. It's unbelievable. And they did the same thing to Prince. Well, not exactly the same thing. It wasn't exactly the same thing, but they took him out because of his weaknesses. I mean, I guess from all the entertainment, um, his performances wearing high heels, he developed some hip problems, and he had to have some surgeries. And I think he got addicted to some of those painkillers. You wish you had roosters. Yeah, the rooster. Yeah, they make me laugh during the day when they all gang up on one little hen. Yeah, it's funny. It's hilarious. And you see me running out there to tear a rooster off a hen. Yes, they were. And you know what? They were both very quiet. People didn't realize how powerful those two men were. They didn't make waves. They were very quiet. They were subdued. They didn't say too much. They didn't talk too much. They're kind of demure, musical geniuses. It's like a script. I know. Yes, yes. At some point, I mean, there's too many surgeries. He had too many facial surgeries, I think. Yeah, it was very sad. I know you. Before we sign off, I'll tell you something really funny that my daughter said. Like, this is when she's little, mind you, right? So we're watching a Michael Jackson special. And remember, when Michael Jackson was little, like he had a little afro, he had like dark skin, he was a cute little black boy, he was like this adorable kiddo dancing and whatever. And we're watching it. And my my daughter, I said, Dana, look at Michael Jackson when he was little. And she turns to me, she says, I thought Michael Jackson was a white girl. Because of the way he looked like as an adult. And I was like, no. She had no idea that he looked like that cute little, yeah, Ben, that movie Ben. Yeah, that was hilarious. was hilarious. I just looked at her like, "What?" Yeah. She comes out the funniest stuff, boy. Yep. Yeah, she had no idea. Yeah, because she grew up not seeing what he looked like as a little boy. She grew up knowing Michael Jackson as like this, skinny little, you know, looked like, my complexion and straight hair. Oh no, the stuff that comes out of her mouth you would not believe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was one time she's upstairs, right, watching TV. She comes downstairs. I'm drinking a cup of coffee, and she just leans over to me, stares me straight in the face, and she says, "Mom, have you ever gone to a sex toy party?" And I like nearly spit my coffee out. It's like, what? Like, where'd you get that from? She says it's on the TV show. I said, they're talking about sex toys on a TV show. Like it was like 10 o'clock at night. She says, yeah. I said, what show is that you're watching? And she tells me, it's like, you're kidding. They're talking about that on at 10 o'clock at night. Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, Jackson 5. Well, it was a Jackson 5, but they had more. They had little boy after that, and then Janet Jackson. They had a lot of kids. I think it was just more than 5. They Well, they were Tupperware parties, but there were all kinds of other parties too. Lingerie parties and stuff, but I was like shocked. Like, but that's what my daughter would do. She knew that it was for shock value, right? It was for shock value. There was one time she gets on the school bus, right? And I would ask her, like, what did you learn? Like, what did you learn in school today? And or like, what did you learn on the school bus today? And then there's one time she comes home from school and she's little. She's like 7, 8 years old. And she looks at me and she said, I learned a new word. I said, what's the word? And she just spit out the word. I'm not going to say it. I'll spell it in the chat. And I said, where'd you learn that word from? And she said, my friends have older brothers and sisters. Because my daughter was an only child. Like, how would she know what the hell that is? And then, of course, she was jump around the house saying the word over and over again because she saw my expression. And then when her father came home last night, I said, tell daddy what you learned on the bus today, on the school bus today. And that was like the biggest joke, like for days. Like she would run around the house jumping up and down saying that word. Oh my god, kids are so much fun. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the one-liners that come out of that kid, boy. That's half of the stuff I can't even say here. Oh my goodness, yeah. It's fun having kids, right? And then they turn into adults. Yeah. So anyway, it was fun chatting with everybody tonight, and thank you for the great funny memories. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night. I'm gonna go check my mail now.